Intermittent fasting. This is exactly the same thing again. It's trying to convince your body. Now, okay, I'm going to caveat to this. One time, someone made a video and I watched it and said the only thing intelligent about intermittent fasting that I have ever heard, and I thought, you know what, that's a good point. Intermittent fasting, if there's a certain point of time when you just don't eat, there are less opportunities for you to slip on a diet. If you are in the middle of a fasting window and all your friends are having a burger and something, you're just not having you're in the middle of, this is my fasting window, I don't. It's easier from a psychological standpoint to deny yourself the food because it's not within the time that you can eat. And at the other times, you would normally base it around when you'd be home and in a more controlled eating environment. Also, if you have a smaller window to eat, it's much easier to plan out all the food that you're going to eat and do all the math necessary to make sure you eat the right things. That's true. But in terms of the idea that just eating in a certain window of time has some type of physiological benefit, just starving yourself for some period of time before then eating in a smaller window of time will in some way convince your body that food was never going to come or that it was definitely going to come. If anything, I would have thought intermittent fasting would have worked the other way around, because if you're starving yourself, surely the body would be like, whoa, if I'm in starvation, maybe I should be a bit more judicious with the fat that reserves that I have. But somehow starving your body makes your body think, well, food's definitely going to come since we haven't had any in so long, so let's burn all the fat in the hope that it does come, even though we don't expect it to based on the information, but do expect it to because just do. Anyway, that don't make no sense to me, but I'm sure you can find a million studies, prejudiced studies by people that are all for intermittent fasting that will say, yeah, it's definitely, that's the way to do it. And the idea that would have some benefit to losing fat is just, it's just ludicrous to me. I don't understand what, especially since everyone intermittent fasts anyway. And the 99% of the people that you talk to that have been trying to lose weight, when you talk to them about how their diet is, what do they say to you? This is what they say to you. They say, I go to sleep at night. Maybe they don't say it, but trust me, they do. They go to sleep at night and they sleep for at least 6 hours. No one's really sleep. Okay, let's call it 5 hours just to be, no one's sleeping for less than 5 hours. So there's 5 hours of fasting. And all these people say, now, if you've trained anyone, you talk to anyone about that, you've helped anyone, get out of a, fat slump and trying to get to a stage where they're fit, they will always tell you, I don't really got time for breakfast. I don't really eat breakfast. I don't really eat anything. So they go without breakfast. They go about their business. And later on in the day, they start eating. Sounds a lot like an intermittent fasting window to me, where they probably don't go and then fall asleep. They probably, just live their life, brush their teeth, sit down, maybe put on the telly, maybe read a book, go to sleep. Maybe there's an hour between them eating their last meal. That's me being, kind. It's normally probably a bit more than that. Between the last thing that you eat and you go to sleep. Sleep for like 5 hours, maybe 6 hours. Wake up, get ready, leave the house, don't eat breakfast, as people generally don't, and then go about the day and later on they start picking up food. All that's just a big intermittent fasting window. Yet they are easily getting fat doing that because it doesn't matter. It's all about total calories in versus total calories out. You can't get out of the game. It's one of the most basic laws of thermodynamics. You can't get more out of the system than you put in. You can't get equal out of the system what you put in, and you can't get out of the game. That is, anyone that knows physics will be like, yeah, that's thermodynamics. You can't cheat the system. You can't get more energy out of your body than what you put in. Nobody is going around magically doing acts without food. Nobody. Okay, next one. Full body versus splits. It's just such a, it just feels like such a non-issue now. And the thing is, I've made videos on this before, it just feels like such a non-issue. The people for splits seem to not believe that full body works, and it's like, and the people doing full body are so high and mighty with the fact that their way is physiologically better that they don't see the wood for the trees and realize that the world is not a test tube. And I did a video on this the other day, might put it here if I try and remember, but to the people, for the noob, it's not really going to matter because you're just training and the fact that you're moving is great. And we're talking about really small elements of gains here, for if somebody's really going hard in the gym. First off, I built everything of what I am from a split routine. When I started training, I went from fat to ripped, and this isn't tooting my own horn at all. This is just appreciation of the planet we're on. If people could get to the position that I was in when I took the intro photo for this video, that 99% of people on Earth could get to that position, they would be happy and call it a day, do a high five with their friends. Most people are just looking to get out of being fat and get to a position where they have an enviable body. To some people, that would make them happy. So for that to happen in under a year, I just did it on splits. That's the truth. I can't say anything else. I can't say that, oh yeah, but the truth is that the full body would have been better, so maybe I would have, that's all, whatever, maybe that's true, I don't know. I know that I did it on splits. I know that I tell people to do full body, and if they can't do full body, do splits. Splits are not as good as full body from a physiological, scientific standpoint if you're executing them perfectly. That's a fact. Fact. Other side of it is, for people doing splits, sometimes it's more fun. Sometimes it's more fun to just go in the gym and blood. I'll tell you something I miss from, because I haven't done splits in a while. I'll tell you something I miss from doing splits. You do, say, chest, and you have a chest day and you bash in your chest, and what you'd get is a chest pump, a serious chest pump. Now, I'm not going to say my chest pump was bigger on my chest days because, I did more chest exercise, more blood rush to the thing. I would say it's more or less equal, if not exactly equal to the chest pump I get after I do a full body set with 5x5 bench or whatever. But because the rest of the body wasn't pumped up, it made my chest look big. And since the rest of the body I wasn't training it that day, psychologically I'd look at my biceps and be like, well, they don't look that big to me, they don't look that good, but I wasn't training them, so it's fine. I look at my chest and it's really, exaggerated, and I'm looking at my chest, I'm like, whoa, my chest is really popping off, it looks good. And I look in the mirror and I feel good about myself, give me more inspiration to keep training. Now, if you're looking at this thinking, oh, that's really small of you, man, you shouldn't be training for that. You should be training the thing. You shouldn't just be looking for gains. Well, welcome to Earth. Hi. Population of about 7 billion here. There's quite a few of us. We have different land masses appropriated across the globe and water to separate them. This is how it works here. Just what I'd introduce you to the planet, since you clearly have not been living on it. We train to gain. We train to look like what we want to look like, and our aesthetics, what we see in the mirror, is a massive percentage of how we feel about ourselves. However confident you are, when you walk in the mirror and you're like, yeah, that makes you feel good. Go the rest of the day, you're happy. That's just the truth. And if you say that's not true, then you need to subscribe because it's true. Anyway, so that's the thing that I used to get from splits that I don't really get from full body. I don't go after full body. I can't look in the mirror and say, and maybe it's just because you could argue, and I would probably agree. Maybe it's because the whole body's kind of pumped and you're not really seeing it because there's nothing to compare it to. And I would say, yeah, cool, whatever, man. Whatever works. It worked for me. I used to look in, since I started training full body, I don't even look in the mirror after I used to train. And I used to have it as a ritual. Train and go and look in the mirror. Train and go and look in the mirror. Train and go and look in the mirror. See what I've done. I used to do that every single time. I don't do that no more. So that is, you can't argue that's not a negative to full body. You can't argue that. And if you can say that technically that's not actually a negative to the full body fit, because actually the pump that you receive after the gym doesn't actually matter for hypertrophy. Yeah, we all know it doesn't matter though. It still made me feel not as good. And if I died tomorrow, my life was a series of how much good I felt in it. And that is a good that I'm missing now because I don't do it anymore. And you can argue that. So this the whole idea of like, oh, we do splits, we do fun. Why don't you just agree that, oh, is that what you like to do? Oh, cool, man. I like to do it this way. I see why you're doing it though. I can see the benefits in that. Might give it a try someday, but really this is more for me. Oh, okay, I see what you're doing. I understand that. And I think the way you're doing it is probably technically better, but I'm kind of feeling the way I'm doing it. High five. Why don't we just do that? I don't think I want to end my rant there. There's going to be more of these. How long have I got? How long have I been on this? Wow, that's a long time. Anyway, might make this into a few parts. Hope there's been some help. Bradley Aidan Johnson. Like the video, comment, subscribe, and all that stuff. I can't remember my old outro still. I might try and get it back. Other than that, peace!